Good afternoon, students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, our discussion is on gravitation. This is the new chapter, and this is the first session or first lecture on this topic, that is gravitation. And in this chapter, we will mainly study that is what is gravitation, what is gravitation, what is gravitational force, what is gravitational force, next universal gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant, next Kepler's law, and also concept of mass and weight, concept about mass and weight, acceleration due to gravity, and also last concept, that is free fall concept. What is free fall? So all these topics will be discussed one by one, and some of this topic will be discussed in this section, in this lecture, and the remaining topics will be discussed in the subsequent lectures. So let's start first. Now, what is this gravitation? Or we'll study what is gravitational force. What is gravitational force? What is gravitational force? Now see, it is a one type of force. Gravitational force means it is a one type of force. Now what normal force is actually is differentiate with this gravitational force. What is gravitational force? No, it has been observed, you have clearly seen that when an object is dropped from a height, it falls towards the earth, or it falls downwards. Whenever we taking up an object to a height and then we release the object, it will fall towards the earth, or it will fall towards the down or downwards. Now Isaac Newton, he is a scientist, he studied this fact and said that not only the earth but every object in this universe attracts every other object. Every object in this universe attracts every another object, and this force of attraction between the two objects is called this gravitational force, or sometimes it is said as force of gravitation also. That means it is a force of attraction between two objects. So gravitational force, it is a force of attraction, between the two objects. It is the force of attraction between the two objects. It is called gravitational force, or sometimes it is also called as force of gravitation. Force of gravitation also. Clear? Now what is gravitation? What is this gravitation? It is defined as the force of attraction between the two bodies in the universe. In a short way, gravitation is defined as the force of attraction between any two bodies in the universe. That means gravitational force or force of gravitation and gravitation is somewhat similar. Clear? Gravitational force, force of gravitation, or gravitation is somewhat similar. Only the name is different, but the concept is somewhat similar. That gravitation or gravitational force or force of gravitation is defined as the force of attraction between the two bodies, between any two bodies in the universe. That is gravitation. That means you can say that gravitational force and force of gravitation, these three are somewhat similar. That means it is a force of attraction between the two objects, or you can also say that gravitation is defined as the force of attraction between any two bodies in the universe. So gravitation is defined as the force of attraction. Gravitation is defined as the force of attraction between any two bodies in the universe. This is what gravitation. and the force with which the earth attracts the objects, the force with which the earth attracts the object or pulls the object towards its center is called gravitational force of earth or gravity of the earth. Because Newton already studied, or he already said that there is a force of attraction between any two objects in the universe. That means the earth also pulls or attracts some objects towards its center, and that force will be termed as gravitational force of earth or simply gravity of earth. That means the force with which the earth pulls the objects, the force with which the earth pulls the objects towards its center, is called gravitational force of the earth or gravity of the earth, or simply gravity of the earth. That means force exerted by earth or force with which the earth attracts its objects towards the center. That is your gravitational force of earth or gravity of the earth. Clear? So that is all about gravitation, and related to gravitation, the force of attraction or simply gravitational force of attraction. Next is your universal law of gravitation. There is a law that supports gravitation, that is termed as universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Suppose we have two objects. One is A and another object which is B. And mass of object A is m1, mass of object B is m2, and these two objects is separated by a distance, that is d. We have two objects A and B. The mass of object A is m1 and mass of object B is m2, and these two objects, they are separated by a distance small d from each other. Clear? Now the law states that universal law of gravitation, it is given actually by Isaac Newton. This law is given by Sir Isaac Newton. He is a famous scientist. So this law was proposed by Sir Isaac Newton, and he proposed that the attractive force between any two objects in the universe, is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So I am just writing this his two laws. So according to him, or you can say according to his law, number one statement proposed by Sir Isaac Newton is the attractive force between any two objects the attractive force between any two objects in the universe is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Directly proportional to the product of their masses. That is the first statement given by Sir Isaac Newton in universal law of gravitation. The attractive force between any two objects in the universe is directly proportional to the product of their masses. That means mathematically it is represented as, if the attractive force between any two objects is F, and F will be directly proportional to the product of their masses. That means it will be directly proportional to m1 and m2. So mathematically it is represented as F proportional to m1 m2. If F is the attractive force between any two objects, that means here if F is the attractive force between m1 and m2, and F will be by this law F will be directly proportional to m1 and m2, because it will be directly proportional to the product of their masses. So mass is m1 and another mass is m2, so product is m1 m2. That means F will be proportional to m1 m2. That is the first statement. Next statement given by Sir Isaac Newton is that the force of attraction or the attractive force will be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The attractive force is inversely proportional. The attractive force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The attractive force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So mathematically it is represented as F is the attractive force, so it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Now distance is d, so square of the distance, that means d square, and inversely proportional means 1 by d square. So that is the expression. That is, attractive force F is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Distance is d between m1 and m2. Square of distance d is d square. So inversely proportional, that means F proportional to 1 by d square. So that is the two statement provided by Sir Isaac Newton in universal law of gravitation. So that is the equation 1 and equation 2, that is first law and this second law. If we combine these two equations, we have, so combining two equations, now F proportional to m1 m2 and F proportional to 1 by d square. So if we combine these two equations, it will be F proportional to m1 m2 by d square. Or if we want to omit the proportional sign, we will have to put a constant. That means here constant will be g. So F equal to g m1 m2 by d square. That is the formula, or that is the final expression of universal law of gravitation. That is, F equals to g m1 m2 by d square. So if we want to omit the proportional sign, we need to put a constant and provide a equal sign in place of this proportional sign. So F equal to g m1 m2 divided by d square. F equals to g m1 m2 divided by d square. That is the universal law of gravitation. Here g is constant, and this constant is termed as universal gravitational constant. This g is a constant, it is termed as universal gravitational constant, and it has a fixed value. G universal law of universal gravitational constant has a fixed value, and its value is g equals to, remember this value because this value will be required to solve numerical problems. So remember this value with unit. So g equals to 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square kg square. That is the value of g. 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square slash kg square. That is the value of g. Clear? It is called universal gravitational constant, and this value, the value of g, it is found out by Henry Cavendish. Sir Henry Cavendish, the value of g is found out or proposed by Sir Henry Cavendish, scientist Sir Henry Cavendish. He discovered or he calculated the value of g. Clear? So that is the universal law of gravitation and the value of g. Next, the final expression of universal law of gravitation we have, that is F equals to g m1 m2 by d square. That is the final expression of universal law of gravitation. Now the value of g it does not depend on the medium. The value of G, it does not depend on the medium between the two bodies. That means if this M1 and M2 two bodies are kept in liquid, or if it is kept in air, so the value of G will not vary. The value of G is independent on the medium between the two bodies. Number one, it is also independent it is also independent to the mass of the bodies. That means M1 and M2. So if suppose M1, you have taken M1 is 2 kg and M2 is 3 kg, the value of G will be same. If you take M1, suppose you have taken M1 10 kg and M1 15 kg, the value of G is same. That means if you take M1 and M2 any mass, the value of G will not vary. The value of G will independent on its mass. So its value will not depend on mass of M1 and M2. And the third condition, that it is also independent between the distance of the two bodies. That means the value of G also independent on D. So first condition, the value of G will be independent on D, value of G will be independent on M1 and M2, and value of G will be independent also between the medium of the two bodies. So its value is independent regarding this factor. Now if we take M1 and M2 equal to 1 kg, we take M1 and M2 as 1 kg and D take suppose as D equals to 1 suppose meter. Clear? M1 and M2 is 1 kg and D equals to 1 meter. So in that condition, F will be equals to G. If M1 and M2 both as 1 kg, D both as 1 meter, so if you put these values, then you find that F equals to G. That means the gravitational constant will be equal to the gravitational force of attraction between the two bodies. That means it is defined as the universal gravitational constant. The definition of universal gravitational constant, it is defined as the gravitational force between the two objects of unit masses and separated by a unit distance from each other. That is the definition of universal gravitational constant. So if you put M1 into 1 kg, D equals to 1 meter in this equation, you will have F equals to G. That means universal gravitational constant is equal to the force of attraction or gravitational force between the two bodies. So by this equation we can easily derive the definition of universal gravitational constant. So universal gravitational constant is defined as the gravitational force. Universal gravitational constant is defined as the gravitational force between the two objects of unit masses, that is 1 kg, and it is separated by a unit distance. It is separated by a unit distance from each other in space. That is the definition of universal gravitational constant. So universal gravitational constant is defined as the gravitational force between two objects of unit masses. Because M1 and M2, we have assumed that M1 and M2 is 1 kg, that means so unit masses, and separated by a unit distance. Because D, we assume that D is 1 meter, so D is also unit and separated by a unit distance from each other, placed anywhere in space. That is the definition of universal gravitational constant. So universal gravitational constant is defined as the gravitational force between two objects of unit masses and separated by a unit distance from each other, placed anywhere in space. That is universal gravitational constant, the definition of universal gravitational constant. Clear? Now unit of G. What is the unit of G? The unit of gravitational constant. Unit Unit of G. What is the unit of G? Its SI unit is Newton meter square kg square. Newton meter square slash kg square. That is the SI unit of G. That is unit of G is Newton meter square kg square. Newton meter square kg square. That is the SI unit of G. That is universal gravitational constant. Clear? So that's all about universal law of gravitation, its expression and the definition of universal gravitational constant. Next one, what is the importance of this universal law of gravitation? What is the importance? Why is it so important? So importance of universal law of gravitation. What is the importance of universal law of gravitation? Now, universal law of gravitation successfully explained some phenomena. Universal law of gravitation successfully explained some phenomena. For example, like the force that binds us to the earth. The force that binds us to the earth, it is explained by universal law of gravitation. So number one importance is that the force that binds us to the earth. The force that binds us to the earth, that is the number one importance. Number two importance is that the motion of the moon around the earth. The motion of the moon around the earth, it is also explained by universal law of gravitation. So number two importance is the motion of moon, the motion of the moon, the motion of the moon around the earth, motion of the moon around the earth. Number three is the motion of the planets. Like moon, the motion of the planets around the sun. Now we every one of us, we know that planets moves around the sun, so that motion is also governed by universal law of gravitation. So number three importance is the motion of the planet, the motion of the planets, the motion of the planets around the sun, around the sun, the motion of the planets around the sun. And lastly, last importance of universal law of gravitation is that the flow of water in river. That means how water flows in a river. The flow of water in river also due to this gravitational force, because of the gravitational force of the earth on water. Gravitational force of earth on water, the force that conducts or that flow that directs the water flow in a river. So water flow or flow of water in a river, it is also due to the gravitational force of the earth on river. So the flow of water in rivers, the flow of water in rivers due to the flow of waters in rivers due to the gravitational, the flow of waters in rivers is also due to the gravitational force on the gravitational force of the earth on water. The flow of water in rivers is also due to the gravitational force of the earth on water. So these are the importance of universal law of gravitation. Clear? Now next an important force that is known as centripetal force. What is this centripetal force? Centripetal force. What is this centripetal force? Now it is also one type of force, and it is also sometimes called as center seeking force. It has another name also, that is center seeking force or centripetal force. Now the force that keeps a body moving along a circular path, the force that keeps a body moving along a circular path in acting towards the center. Listen carefully. It is a force that keeps a body moving along the circular path and it is acting towards the center. that force will be termed as centripetal force, and as this force is acting towards the center, it is sometimes called as center seeking force. So the definition is that the force that keeps moving, the force that keeps a body moving, the force that keeps a body moving along the circular path is acting towards the center is called centripetal force, or center seeking force is called centripetal force or center seeking force. It is called as center seeking force because this force is acting towards the center. Now example is the motion of the moon around the earth. The way the moon moves around the earth, or the motion of the moon around the earth, it is due to the centripetal force. So example is the motion of the moon around the earth. It is one type of centripetal force or center seeking force. This centripetal force is provided by actually the gravitational force of attraction of the earth. This centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force of attraction on the earth. If there were no such force, that means if there were no gravitational force of attraction, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. Its motion then will not be around the earth if there were no gravitational force of attraction. The centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force of attraction of the earth. If there is no gravitational force, then the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. Clear? So based on above theory part that I have studied so far, write one problems. So first question, problem number 1. Find the gravitational force. Find the gravitational force between an earth and an object. Find the gravitational force between an earth and an object of 2 kg mass placed on its surface. The question is that find the gravitational force between an earth and an object of 2 kg mass placed on its surface. Given that mass of earth, it is given mass of earth, it is given as 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg, 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg, and radius of earth, it is also given, radius of earth, it is given as 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter. So these data are given. We have to calculate the gravitational force between an earth and an object with this data. Now given that mass of earth is given and radius of earth, it is also given. So given that mass of earth is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg, it is the mass of earth. So just write what we have in the question. Given mass of earth, let mass of earth be as m1, it is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg given. Mass of object is also given, that is 2 kg. So mass of object, let it be m2, it is also given at 2 kg, and radius is also given. Radius, that means radius of the earth, 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter, it is also given. So radius of earth, let it be r, that is the radius of earth, it is as 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter. So these data are given, and we have to find gravitational force, that means we have to find F. Now we have a formula, that is F equals to G m1 m2 divided by d square. From universal law of gravitation, we have a relation between F and G, that is F equals to G m1 m2 divided by d square, that is universal law of gravitation. Clear? Where m1 m2 are the masses of two bodies, F is the force of attraction between them, G is the gravitational constant, and d is the distance between the two body. Now here the distance is actually the radius of earth. In this case the distance will be the radius of earth, that is your distance. So just put value. So G, value of G, the value of G is value of G is not given, but we have to remember the value of G. So the value of G was 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11, that is the value of G. Sometimes the value of G will not be given to you. You will remember the value of G. It is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. And M1 given as 6 into 10 to the power 24. M2 given as 2 kg. And radius of earth, it is given as 6.4 into 10 to the power 6. It is d square, that means it will be square. Clear? Now you solve and just reduce the answer. So 6.67 and to 10 to the power minus 11 into 6 into 10 to the power 24 into 2 and divided by, it will be divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 square here. So it will be 2 times 6.4 into 10 to the power 6. So if you solve, you can easily get the answer. So I am going to simplify a little bit this equation. 6.67 into 10 to the power 11. So 10 to the power minus 11 and 10 to the power 24. And it is 6.67 into 6. So 6.67 into 6 into 2, that is 10 to the power minus 11 and 10 to the power 24. So 10 to the power minus 11 into 10 to the power 24, it means that it will be plus 24. That means 10 to the power 13. That means 10 to the power 13. 10 to the power 13. Next, in the denominator section, it is 6.4 into 6.4 and 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power 6. That means it will be 10 to the power 12. Clear? Now it will be 6.67 into 2 into 6, that is 12, into divided by, it will be 6.4 into 6.4 into 10 to the power 12. It will reduce. 10 to the power 12 means there are 12 tens, and 10 to the power 13 means there are 13 tens. So 12 10 will reduce to 12 10 and 1 10 will be remaining. That means into 10. Clear? Now if you simplify, so omit this decimal, that means it will be 100 here. If you omit both these decimals, it will be 100 also here. Now 100 will reduce. So it is 667 into 12 into 10 divided by 64 into 64. That means 667 into 12 into 10 divided by 64 into 64. Now if you reduce, it will be 2 6 are 12, 2 32s are 64, 2 3s are 6, 2 16s are 32, 2 8s are 16, 2 5s are 10. That means it will be 667 into 3 into 5, that means 667 into 15 divided by 64 into 8. So you can easily just multiply this and divide the both. So you can get your answer, and the answer will be in Newton, because it is force. You are going to express the gravitational force. That means whatever be the answer, it will be in the Newton. The unit will be Newton. So just multiply this and multiply this portion and divide, and you can easily get your answer. Clear? I am just simplified a little bit for you so that you can easily solve after this. Clear? So that's how we will approach the numerical problems based on the theory part. Clear? So that's it for today's session. Next session we will discuss the next remaining topics. That means or remaining topics are your Kepler's law of planetary motion. Next day we'll start from Kepler's law, and also free fall concept will be discussed, and the concept of mass and weight. So 3 to 4 topics will be there, and that will be the ending part of this chapter. Clear? So thank you.